Alright, you ready?
Yeah, ready, Freddy.
Okay. Alrighty. Alright. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays from all of us at the Roadway Wiz family. Tonight we've got a quick show for you. I promise we'll be done in roughly an hour or so, if that. Tonight we're going to do a quick recap of the year 2023. We'll talk briefly about the major road trips that I went on during the year and the channel activity that took place during the year, and also look ahead to what's coming up in 2024. There's already a lot on the table as it is. I am actually not doing this show solo tonight. There's more people on my panel tonight than there were last week. How about that? Laura's here.
Hi, I'm here.
Hi.
Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Hello.
Hello.
Nice to have you.
So good to be here.
Yeah. So we're just gonna roll right into this, I think. Yeah. The doughies want to say hello,
And the doughy butts.
Oh yeah, there's a doughy butt in my doughy mug. On the YouTube uploads front, I'll quickly say that I'm continuing with new content from the state of Arkansas. This is I-49 mainly. There's I-55 in there. I think there's going to be some other things as well coming up. And then we're going to be moving into the Memphis area in early January. So that's new content coming up. That's about it. I'll talk about my main contributions to the Gribble Nation site as we go through tonight's program. So there are a couple of things I'd like to mention. Let's jump right into this. So I'm going to start down here with the new content. So about 1,700 new videos published. Now you'll see that this number is significantly higher than it's been in recent years. That videos per day average is up over 4.5. Usually it's around 3.5. The main reason for that increase is because of a lot of the content that was uploaded this year was more rural in nature, so it was more like me just dumping a bunch of content at once rather than gradually spreading it out as I usually do when I upload material in an urban area. I am running out of new cities and urban material to upload anyway, so I would say that in the future you're going to see a lot more of the material that's in between the metro areas. You've seen all the big cities pop up on the channel over the years, so now it's a matter of filling in the blanks, connecting the dots, and we'll see how far I manage to get with that moving forward. I went to 5 road meets this year, and you see them at the top of your screen. Long Island in March. Buffalo was at the end of July. Cumberland was October.
October 21st.
Yep. Harford County was in May.
May 6th.
Hey, you had a busy year.
I had a very busy year. I hosted 2 meets, which is something I never do. Well, so part of that is because the Harford County meet was timed to go with the 250th anniversary of the incorporation of Harford County as its own county separate from Baltimore County. And then Cumberland was a meet idea that I have been toying around with for a couple years. And then this year, with Dan's help, I finally was able to get it done and out there. And it also helped too that timing wise that was when the pedestrian mall makeover was happening. So that worked out very well. But yeah, Dan has been super helpful this year. I mean, it was great that we did the Hartford County episode and then the meet.
Yeah, there was a package in there, right? There was the show that we did in the spring, and then the meet after that. So, we did a lot of work as far as. Well, I learned a lot about Hartford County, that's for sure.
Yeah.
A lot more than I ever thought I would.
That's right. And then, of course, this month we had the Lancaster meet.
That's right.
I went to one more meet than you. I also went to...
Yeah, somehow you did, yeah.
I did. And Rainey did, too, because Rainey also accompanied me on the Missing Moves mini meet in Deptford, New Jersey.
Yeah, 2 meets in December.
Yeah, I know.
That's an unusual thing, I think.
It is.
Well, there was good weather for both.
It was.
So that's good.
Aww, there's the whole group.
I mean, my nominee for meet of the year, I don't know, everybody, I suppose, could pick their own, and, your experience may vary and all that, but I'm just gonna selfishly self-promote my own meet as meet of the year.
I don't blame you. It's fantastic.
So, I'm just saying,
Yeah. I mean, likewise, I would promote my Hartford County meet as the meet of the year because that was, so it was something I'm extra proud of. And look how cute we all are.
I know. The most people ever in a meet photo, right there.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
That was a lot of fun to put together. We practically took over the Pearl Street Grill. They managed to fit all of us in there, surprisingly. And then we had to stop at a Tim Hortons.
Yes, we did.
I'm not sure what this meeting of the minds is over here, but the grain elevators of Buffalo.
Amazing.
Not something you see on a meet tour, so it is good to be able to branch out and do different things than what I think people tend to expect.
Yeah. I think that was a common theme this year, honestly, for meets.
Mm-hmm.
That we branching out a little bit and adding stops of things that are super interesting and unique to an area that aren't necessarily, roads and bridges.
Yeah, because it's my belief, and I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like if you just do the greatest hits or the predictable stuff, then it just kind of you kind of start to feel like you're going through the motions a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that. I think, too, I also come at these from a city planner perspective, so I see the infrastructure as being a little bit beyond, what makes a city is a little bit beyond the roads and bridges and highways. You've got other stuff too that makes these places unique. So I'm of course going to come at it with that a little bit of angle.
Yeah, and I think that Buffalo was kind of the culmination of that attitude that I had.
Definitely.
So you got a little bit of everything. I mean, there was the road stuff and there was the bridge stuff.
Oh, look, there I am.
Yeah, there you are.
Yay.
But there's a lot of other stuff in there too. And,
oh my gosh.
And I think that the people who I did hear from really appreciated the branching out part of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was the drive, and then we were just getting started because we had the after party.
Yes, the after party. That was so fun.
There had never been something quite like this where we had an after meet party in a luxury suite at a ball game. And that was something that I was kind of curious to try and see how it worked, and we nailed it. I thought it was great.
I agree. It was so much fun.
We had to have the obligatory bottle of champagne in the suite.
Yes, we did. So I have to admit that I had a little too much to drink at the after party.
Well, you don't say, huh?
I don't say.
Yeah.
And, so that made for a very interesting experience with
Yeah.
taking a 4-year-old to the meet. And
yeah, but it was a hell of a memorable day.
Oh yeah,
that's for sure.
Most definitely.
Yeah, that one's gonna be hard to top, I think.
Oh, yes.
If I may say so myself. I set the bar pretty high for that
You
one.
set it really high.
Anyway.
You know, as much as you dislike Cal Ripken, had it...
Well, I mean, but he's a fraud, so, you know.
He's not a fraud.
Okay, anyway, go ahead.
Anyway, I had the timing worked out, I would have had a ball game and go with the Hartford 250 with the Aberdeen Ironbirds.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
See, I don't think he's a fraud, but I will say that, you know, boo to the fact that he didn't show up to the Hartford 250 night at the ballpark.
Oh,
in
yeah,
August.
yeah, you told me about that.
Yeah.
All right, so he may not be a fraud, but he's a dope. Yeah. All right, well, we agree on that.
No, I don't
that's
necessarily. I'm not. He's still my beloved Cowardkin. Just, you know, let me down.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. So on the screen, you see new states that were added. We reached 50 states out of 50.
50! Woo!
Yes, South and North Dakota were added in late May, and Alaska became the 50th state in early July.
Amazing.
And then there were a whole bunch of other states revisited. These are the highlighted states.
Oh my gosh, because you got the amazing opportunity earlier this year to take, was it 6 weeks to really explore the South?
Yeah, way back in January, February, yeah.
You got to explore
So all these, so most of these southern metro areas that you're seeing listed here, that was part of that, what I call the cross-country period, which was that first 6-week period where I kind of split it up into 2 trips. The first trip, I did a round trip flight to and from Nashville, and I had a car for 2 weeks. I drove west on I-40 out to California and made my way back on a combination of 40, 25, and I-20 across Texas and Louisiana and Mississippi. And then I also covered the rest of I-10 in Texas. Over the 6-week period, I clinched a bunch of mainline routes. So 30 was done, 49 and 59 were done, 22 was done. The 3DIs, the 220s in Mississippi and Louisiana were done. And then large sections of 10 and 20 and 55 and 40, as I said, was done between California and Tennessee.
You didn't get all the way to North Carolina.
No, I'm still missing. What am I missing in North Carolina? I'm missing one section in North Carolina, and I'm actually missing a part in Tennessee also.
Missed opportunity. You could have clinched the whole thing in one go.
Maybe I'll give that a go some other time. I don't know.
You should.
Maybe.
It's always been my dream. I mean, I realize I-70 doesn't go all the way across the country, but I really want to clinch I-70 all in one go because you know, being from Baltimore.
All right. Yeah.
I've had so many times, you know, from a kid onwards, fantasizing about what if I just got 170 and didn't stop.
And just kept going.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you start in the park and ride, you'll.
Which I absolutely.
Right. Yeah. You have to do that.
I used to live not too far from the park and ride.
Yeah, that's true. I would say the biggest new metro area that was added this year was Dallas-Fort Worth. I know I tallied up the toll dollars that I paid driving around. You see, there's a lot of toll lanes and turnpikes and toll roads and all that jazz. Yeah, I forget what it totaled out to be, but it was astronomical, I'm sure. In mid to late May, I did a trip down to Central Virginia and Richmond because my cousin got married. That was the first of 2 weddings I went to.
Woo,
I'm
Central
sure
Virginia.
we'll mention the other one here shortly. So that meant that I got to visit the Richmond area for the first time in a decade. And it was nice to get back and sort of revisit all these highways. And I didn't really have any pictures of anything. It was all video from 10 years ago. So I updated all that stuff from all these highways.
I miss RVA. When I lived in Lynchburg, that Richmond was like the place to go, like the big city.
Yeah, I guess it would have been
Yeah.
easily the biggest city
Yeah.
around there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, probably also went to a lot of concerts there.
Mm.
That's probably the closest place for, I don't know what the term is. Not like the superstar concerts, but like the smaller bands that are still like notable.
Mm.
If that
Okay.
makes sense. Like Beyonce ain't coming to Richmond, but like
Oh, you don't think Taylor Swift will come there either?
no, I don't think so. But like Bright Eyes, if anybody out there is a Bright Eyes fan, or
Okay.
Death Cab for Cutie. Remember we talked about Death Cab for Cutie in previous episodes.
Yeah.
They were the ones that sung "I Took the 405."
Oh, now I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, and then so that was the wedding weekend, and then the next week after that was Memorial Day weekend, and that's when I flew out to Kansas City and basically clinched I-29, and then that involved a visit into Omaha.
Yay,
and
Nebraska! Speaking of Bright Eyes, actually,
Nebraska, yeah.
that's actually where Bright Eyes is from.
Yep. And then, so that involved documenting the Omaha area and then the two Dakotas, as I mentioned. So that's when that was done. And then we move into early July, and that was the Alaska trip. Parts of all of the state highways that you see on the screen were done. I would say I did about 50% of the state highway system during that period.
Nice.
Yeah, not too bad.
Just means you got to go back and do the rest.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think there's certain items on the bucket list that I would love to do if I ever could get back there. So we will see. But yeah, Alaska was just incredible. Very eye-opening. And it's an interesting place. If you've got 3 hours to tune into a webinar or something. Actually, we're going to be doing a webinar on Alaska in January. So you'll want to tune in for that. You'll get to hear my and other people's stories about our travels in Alaska, which that's going to be an interesting roundtable, I think. So that was July, and then early August I did a trip out into the Mountain West. This was based out of Denver, and I finished my national clinch of I-70 on this trip. Finishing out stuff in Kansas as well, and then I made it down into New Mexico. This was a side trip to Los Alamos and Santa Fe, where I got to do some stuff and revisited Albuquerque. And this was also the trip where I documented the Mount Evans Highway outside of Denver. So that was a week or so. And then not mentioned there was, so I did let me see here. I did way too many trips this year. So there was a Labor Day trip out to Detroit to document the progress on the Gordie Howe International Bridge project. And then I guess it would have been like 10 days after I got back from that Mountain West trip, we had the second wedding of the year, and that was our good friend Corco getting married. Yep, in beautiful bucolic northeastern Connecticut. Yeah, that was a fun wedding.
Oh my gosh, so much fun. And I have to tell you all, the cutest thing ever. So there was a slow dance, and we asked Rainey who she wanted to dance with. Do you want to dance with Mommy? Do you want to dance with Daddy? And she's like, I want to dance with Coco Dan. So you got to dance with her. It was, and then Mike and I were dancing, just watching, because it was just so adorable.
Aw, yeah.
That was a huge highlight of the night.
Yeah, she is a real cutie, isn't she?
She is.
Yep. And I would say the last trip of note that I made was in early November, and that was a long weekend down in southeastern Louisiana to do some preparation and scouting work for the New Orleans Road Meet coming up in February of 24. Here are the social media platforms you can find me on if you haven't found me there already. I've been doing a lot of work lately with the Gribble Nation Roadcast, which is our podcast, which you can find on Spotify. There's actually a whole lot of material that I've got planned to record, possibly as early as next week. And, this is the good time of year to kind of sit down and do some recording of stuff, and then you can release it, gradually as the months go on.
Yep.
I've got a lot of stuff lined up with Doug. Rob Adams is going to join me for some stuff. So it's going to get busy behind the scenes as far as what I'm going to be recording. So I'm sure you guys will enjoy that when it comes out. What is next? Winter trips. So I've moved away from just doing live streams of road meets, and I'm now working on, I think I'm going to just move into doing mini documentaries of select road meets. I still have all that video footage in the can from Cumberland that I'm working to put together. I think I'm going to have a quiet enough week next week that I'll be able to make some significant progress on that.
Are we gonna have a section of the documentary on how to churn butter?
Well, so I yeah. Yes, we learned how to churn butter at the LaVale Toll House.
We're talking about branching out at road meets. I had as one of the tour stops the LaVale Toll House, which is now a museum. And oh my gosh, we just made that tour guide's day. She was just so excited we were there. And then there was an older lady who was there that she was part of the last family that lived in the Toll House. So this lady was just so happy. And so anyway, she just kept going on and on and on, teaching about everything, anything, and everything.
Well, for the first 5 or 10 minutes of it, it was really interesting.
It was, because it was very much about the toll road and
right. Yeah. So that part of it was great.
Yes.
And then we started to get into taking a bath and I don't care. Come on now. What are we doing?
I mean, it's interesting, but not in the context of a road meet.
Yeah. So
I say this as somebody who loves history.
I had to be the bad guy to go in and break it up, unfortunately, but
that's okay.
But I could tell other people were standing around and were like, "What the hell is going on in here?" She wanted to stop here, really?
Speaking of guided tours, we got another one at the canal.
Whatever the hell that canal is called.
Susquehanna and Tidewater Canal Lock House.
Yeah.
Lock House Museum is in the picture in the top left.
Yeah.
That was another one we got a little tour.
Although that one I think worked a lot better.
It did.
Yeah. That was a lot quicker and to the point.
Yes. And strictly focused on the canal.
Right. They didn't teach you how to make cheese or anything like that. No. Okay. So this is a project that I think you should keep an eye on for next year. The working title of it is The History of Road Meets. We are coming up on the 25th anniversary of the first organized road meet, which was out in western Pennsylvania in Greensburg in February 1999. So all of next year, 2024, we'll be doing some anniversary-related stuff. And there's going to be, I think there will be a digital book. There might be an actual physical piece that comes along with this. So those are a couple of things to keep an eye out for. There will probably be a webinar on this channel of some sort of a roundtable. We haven't quite figured out how we want to handle that. There's going to be podcast episodes devoted to this subject. And there's going to be a couple other little things that pop up too, I think. So I have gotten access to as many meat photos as I know exist, which I think is about 230 as of right now.
Wow, there's been that many meats.
Yeah,
That's
been that
incredible.
many. Yeah. And so I've had a lot of fun going down memory lane
Me too.
with some of these recent ones, and then other ones that I think are a bit more obscure and go way back in the Wayback Machine. Those are some interesting ones to look at.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and I think you guys will really like the end product when we're done. New travel plans. So the big trip that I'm looking to do is probably going to be in February, um, around the New Orleans meet. Hey, maybe in 2024 I'll get the Twitch channel started finally. Well, that was going to happen, and then the Discord server started to get a lot of traffic and use.
Yeah.
So I devoted all my extra time to getting that started up. And that is now the largest single Discord server in the road enthusiast community by far, actually.
Oh, yeah.
So we're doing all right over on Discord. If you'd like to join us over there, it's called what is it called? It's called Roadway Wiz. Just
Yeah.
go on Discord and search that, and you'll find us. We're always up to something.
Uh-huh.
New episodes coming up in January. I'll skip ahead.
Whoa, you're skipping ahead.
Well, I was on the subject of live episodes,
Oh, okay,
so I'm
that's
just
fair.
gonna,
Yeah,
gonna
that's
skip ahead. So these are the shows that we have lined up for you in January and February. My guys and gals will be helping me out with these. So we have new cities in there. As I said, we have that Alaska show that's looming off in the distance. A 2-part appraisal of Houston, Texas. There's actually going to be a lot of Texas stuff coming up in February and March. And there's Memphis, which is going to be kind of a redo of one of the first webinars I ever did. So I'm happy to get another shot at that one. And Arkansas is going to get its first episode as well.
Yay.
So that'll be fun.
I will throw out to you all that I will be teaching as an adjunct instructor, professor, again in the spring. So you won't see me on too many episodes.
Well,
So-
we'll get you in there when you're not busy with that.
Oh yeah, there's
Yeah.
2 episodes in particular that I have in mind to do. So you'll have to just stay tuned to find out which 2 they are.
Oh, we're gonna surprise you.
Yeah. Actually 3 episodes.
Yeah, so there is that third one that's
Mhm.
kind of out there
Yeah.
in the middle of March.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. So that'll be our season finale, that mid-March episode, and we think that the channel will probably cross the 20,000 subscribers mark around the month of February. So that'll be good timing to do a special of some sort.
Yeah.
I got a couple of tricks up my sleeve for that one. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Indeed.
Here is as of the recording of this episode, this is how the meat calendar looks for next year. You can see how there's some big stuff early in the year. The National Meet in New Orleans in February. Some dope is hosting that one. And Tom Fear is giving it another go out in California. Last year he did a meet in Fresno. This year it's Bakersfield in April. And we have a meet in Charlotte, and then the official quote unquote 25-year anniversary meet is going to be out in the Pittsburgh area in early May. They picked Star Wars Day for that. Isn't that funny?
It is. I
Yeah.
love it.
And then AJ picked Pothead Day for his Charlotte meet. You guys have impeccable taste for picking dates, I have to say. And then these are locations that may materialize as the year goes ahead. We'll have to see what happens, but you can see that we've got a pretty diverse listing there of possible locations. So stay tuned for that.
Let's talk about that Maryland one.
Would you like to talk about the
Of
Maryland?
course.
Okay.
So I'm thinking of it currently as the Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, Hancock, Maryland meet. Mainly because there's a new bypass of US 522 going up in Berkeley Springs. And that should be open by September. So I want to get out there in the late summer is what I'm looking at. So maybe like August. So...
Okay.
Yeah. Got to do before schools get back in. So probably be
You
like...
think so?
Well, because I'll have a soon-to-be kindergartner.
Yeah. Okay. That's fair.
Yeah. So
I was thinking you might do a fall meet.
I wanted
again,
to do it a
but
fall meet again,
It's
but
not
if
going to really work if she's in school, right?
Well, it's not that, but if the road's open. I personally prefer to do meets before a road opens because then you get to like walk around on it and stuff.
Oh, that's
before,
interesting. Okay, yeah.
Before it, I know some people. There's two different thoughts to this, right? Some people like to do it before a road opens because then you get to like walk around and drive on it before other people do, and you know, kind of still see some construction-y stuff that's left to do. Whereas other people like to do meets but after it's open, like, oh, so we can drive it and I'll clinch it.
Yeah, there seem to be two different ideas, or two different philosophies on that. Yeah.
So I personally prefer the before.
Okay.
So, which is why, in fact, if more of it was paved, I mean, it would have just been too much geographically to include that in with all the Garrett County stuff that we covered on the Cumberland meet.
Mm-hmm.
But if it was further along, it might have been a possibility as a pre or post meet thing.
Mm.
But yeah, there's some other cool stuff in Hancock, Maryland, and Williamsport, Maryland.
Yeah, I know you've run some ideas by me for some of the stuff you want to do on the Maryland side. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's enough there. I think. Yeah.
So again, that's what I'm looking at. Like I said, originally I wanted to do October again, but.
Oh yeah, Offspring. Yep.
Yeah, but hey, it's an exciting thing, right? That
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, old enough to, I'm going to become before you know it, I'll be a PTA mom and a soccer mom.
I know.
Add all that to the
crazy.
resume.
Yeah, I know. Yep.
That also could potentially impact my future meet attendance. We'll see.
That's true. Yep.
Yeah.
I really want to see this Tangier Island thing happen.
Me too.
That has been rumored for years now,
Years.
I think.
I think a big part of it is that planning wise, because CPZ wants to do a Smith Island, Maryland, and Tangier Island, Virginia meet, but they'd have to probably be different days, and we'd have to get a chartered boat. So it would be kind of a special situation.
He was talking about doing it one on a Saturday, one on a Sunday.
Yeah.
So
I think it's it's going to be the kind of meet that's going to take a lot more planning than a meet typically would, and also a bigger commitment up front.
Right.
And there have been meets before. There was the abandoned Pennsylvania Turnpike meet, where we all had to commit in advance because of getting a bus, because that was the only way that we could do it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I know that occasionally there are, meets that involve a little more than just showing up at the site.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that would be this is one of the more interesting ideas that has come along. And I am fully in support of that one coming to fruition finally.
Me too.
I'm also excited for this one to come to fruition.
Heck yeah!
There was one road meet in New Orleans back in 2008. I don't know how well attended that one was. There doesn't appear to be a meet photo from it. At least there isn't one that I'm aware of.
Okay.
So I don't have a whole lot to go off of. But this will be our return to Southeast Louisiana for the first time in 15 years. And yours truly is your gracious host, and I hope you can join us for it. There is information about this meet on the AA Roads Forum under the Road Enthusiast Meetings subcategory. We also have the Facebook group, Road Meets, where you can find information on that. And there's Facebook event pages strewn all over the place related to this weekend. So, if you got nothing better to do on February 17th and 18th, it is the holiday weekend, the President's Day weekend.
And it is the weekend after Mardi Gras. I really wish I had the vacation time because I would totally I would be able to do Mardi Gras earlier in the week and then, recover and then have the road meet.
That's right. Well, that is one of the pitches that I made to people. Like, if they wanted to take the whole week, then that is something they could do.
Oh, that would be amazing.
Yeah. I don't know how many people will do that, but...
It's tricky, too, because it's, the eclipse is in April.
Yeah, and, there are people who are doing that also.
Right, and are making that their vacation.
Right, yeah. So, yeah, why don't y'all come down and join us?
Woo.
We talked about that already. Oh, look, we're at the end of the PowerPoint.
We are?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'd like to thank you all once again for joining us all throughout the year, and I hope you'll keep joining us for our live programs in 2024, and I don't know, however long we decide to keep doing them. But,
I got a question for you, Dan.
Okay.
That I was hoping you'd cover on some slides.
Yes.
What were some of your favorite episodes that we've done in 2023?
Any episode that I did with you.
Oh, yay! Thank you.
No, and I do mean that.
Aww.
You have been a fantastic addition to our panel over the years, and it's been great having you. It's always a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I would say, like, my favorite shows from this past year would probably be the show we did for Buffalo. I forget when we did that. That was about 6 months ago now.
Yeah.
You and I did a show on Atlanta that was good.
Yep.
Cleveland was another one that I thought was really good.
Yes.
Yep.
That one was really good.
Yeah, so there were a few good ones
Yes.
in there.
Was Birmingham? I'm trying to remember. Was Birmingham at the end of 22 or at the beginning
Well,
of 23?
I suppose that would have been end of 22.
Okay, because I was going to say that was a highlight for me, but I wasn't sure if that was in 22 or 23.
Yeah, you know what? The end of 22, we had some good ones there too. We
did.
We did Oklahoma City and we did Syracuse.
That's right. We did that as like a 3-part series.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. So that was everybody's. Yeah. So that kind of flies in there as well.
Yeah. And then of course, we did the I-97, I-83, because that was supposed to be the one that we were going to do New Year's.
Yeah.
In Maryland, but then we all got COVID.
Yep, that's true.
Yep. But yeah, I would agree with you. The Cleveland episode was really good.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm going to be biased again and say that my favorite was the, Hartford 250 episode.
Yep.
That one I really put a lot into.
You sure did.
Oh my god. I was like doing the PowerPoint up to the last second.
Yeah, I know.
Which, Dan, if y'all know anything about Dan, he sometimes has these things set like months and months in advance. And so, whereas I'm the opposite in that I'm just like making all these changes up to like the very last second.
Well, yeah, so actually all those episodes that I showed you for January and February a couple slides ago, those are already done.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, like they could be done tomorrow if I wanted to. But yeah, to demonstrate that point, I just like to get it all done early and that's it. I'm done with it,
Yeah.
Yeah, so anyway, on behalf of the Roadway Whiz family would like to wish you all happy holidays, Merry Christmas, and all that good stuff.
Oh, you're not ending yet. Do we have any questions in the audience?
No, we're not quite done yet.
Oh,
but,
okay. Because also,
Oh yeah.
Spoiler alert.
You got a little something extra.
I have a little something extra at the end. The world premiere of something to show you all at the end.
She's gonna make Taylor Swift sound like an ordinary singer. She's gonna outdo Taylor Swift, right?
In my own personal Christmas era.
That's right.
Yeah.
They should change their logo to Mr. Yuck or a doughy butt.
They should be the Tennessee Doughy Butts.
They should be, because just like doughy butts, they stink.
Although the flaming thumbtack is pretty great.
Yeah, it's symbolic of mediocre football, right? Next week, it's a big one. It's our New Orleans episode, and it's our New Orleans road meet preview show, basically. We're going to try to cram that all into one episode. Good luck with that.
Yeah, so this is one of the 3 that I'm going to be on this season.
Yeah.
And we're going to do it. See, everybody in my family was sick this week.
You're trying to get it out of the way this week.
Hopefully we got it all out of the way.
Yeah, right.
So that y'all can come over down to Maryland for New Year's Eve and do this episode this year.
Yep, so we'll be on location in Maryland on New Year's Eve, so I hope you can join us for that.
Yes.
We'll have some fun talking about Louisiana.
It's a Sunday afternoon episode.
Yeah, I think it's 3 o'clock, right?
Think of it as your New Year's Eve pregame.
Yeah, so you can drink at 12 o'clock, you can watch us when you're hungover, and you can have more to drink later in the night.
Exactly.
All right, I said that we would be done at, 8 o'clock? Or by 8.
By 8?
Yeah.
Remember, you have to keep in mind that my little bit is about probably 3 minutes long.
Oh, that's fine.
At the end,
I mean, it's, But well, you're here, so I'll show. I was gonna show people some of my favorite cities from 2023.
As you should.
So I'll put Omaha up here.
Yay!
Just because you're here, and I know how much you love Nebraska.
I love Nebraska, y'all. Like,
does the audience know why you like Nebraska so much? I don't know if they do. I
don't know. So to me, I really love Nebraska. There's so many reasons why I love Nebraska. So one of those reasons is because author Willa Cather is from Nebraska. She wrote the book My Antonia, among many others, and My Antonia is one of my favorite novels. I actually, back in 2014, when I was on my big road trip with Mike and my mom, we actually stopped in Red Cloud, Nebraska, and did the Willa Cather tour.
All right.
Yeah, and so another reason is the countryside to me is just so beautiful. All the farms, just all of the scenery is just so underrated, and it's just absolutely stunning and beautiful. We went in 2017. Again, my second visit to Nebraska was to see the solar eclipse. And it was in totality. We went to Homestead National Monument Park. And I even got a selfie with Bill Nye, the science guy, while I was there. Yeah. And got to see totality, which was awesome. And also the because we weren't in a rush, we literally saw everything that was there at the museum and on the grounds. It's probably the only time I've ever said, you know what, let's look at everything. And then by the time we did, like 2.5, 3 hours later, then the traffic was gone. Because there was a big event there.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And so similarly, my family is planning in the 2024 eclipse, we're actually planning to go to Cuyahoga Falls National Park. to
Oh
their
yeah, I always
festivities.
forget that that's a national park. Yeah.
Yeah, but the plan is to hit, you know, we go into these national parks, national monument parks, you know, to see the, you know, to be with all these people and see the solar eclipse together, which is pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Another reason is a little more personal. I mentioned to y'all that Bright Eyes and the singer Connor Oberst is from Omaha. My late boyfriend, that was his favorite band, and he introduced me to Bright Eyes. And he was always like, always had wanted to go and visit Omaha. And unfortunately, he passed away before getting the chance. And so, being in Nebraska, you know, made me think of him. And a good coworker of mine, her name is Tiffany. Back when I worked at my job at the Parking Authority of Baltimore City, she's from Lincoln, Nebraska. So it was really cool that she, you know, told me all the places to go. We got to explore Lincoln when we were out there in 2017. But yeah, just, oh my gosh, as far as scenery goes, in 2014, like I said, our trip, I'm going to pull up a map so I don't, you know, mess it up, right? Map.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, is there any particular part of the state that you think is A+?
Oh my god, yeah.
Yeah.
So here we go. So we entered Nebraska on US 281 and from Kansas, and then we stopped in Red Cloud, which is a really great, you know, quintessential small town. And like I said, the tour was wonderful. We then drove north up to Grand Island, where we then didn't we meet at Wisconsin there, or am I dreaming that? Wisconsin, if you're in the chat, tell me. Or maybe that was in 2017. I don't know. For some reason, Grand Island sticks out to me. Anyway, what's really cool is then we went up to Nebraska too. No, it must have been 2017 we met at Wisconsin. Not in 2014. But anyway, okay, so we then drove up to Nebraska too. Through the Sandhills. Absolutely gorgeous. Highly recommend. So beautiful. We stayed the night in Broken Bow. And it was a really nice, you know, thing that we were kind of right by the railroad. And, you know, my mom found comfort in that because she grew up by the railroad and listening to that. And just makes me happy thinking about that. But anyway, Nebraska too. Absolutely stunning. We took it all the way to Alliance. We went to Carhenge, which was so cool.
Okay.
I love, you know, stereotypical roadside Americana. Then what we did was we then went south on 385 down to US 26, and we got to see some cool Oregon Trail stuff. It's another reason why I love Nebraska. Because I played so much. In particular, I played Oregon Trail 2. I was obsessed with Oregon Trail 2. Which was, you know, the updated version of the original Oregon Trail, which I played in school on the old school DOS computers. But, you know, Oregon Trail 2 for Windows 95.
Yeah, right.
That was where it was at. That game was intense. I can't even tell you how many hours I played. But anyway, we saw Chimney Rock. We went to Scottsbluff National Park, which was really cool. Drove back up over to 385, and then, you know, went north into South Dakota. It's really cool as you're driving, you know, north, and you're starting to get, you know, a little more hillier and more mountainous, and, you know, as you're gradually getting into South Dakota. So that was really cool.
Right, yeah.
So then our trip in 2017, we entered and exited Nebraska through via I-80. But we actually stayed the night before the eclipse. We stayed in Columbus, Nebraska, because I got an Airbnb there for super cheap. So that's my tip to y'all, is stay just outside of Totality, because the prices are cheap and nobody cares. And then just drive into Totality the next morning, which is what we did. And, you know, we drove south to Homestead, which is just a Hoopshead National Historical Park, which is, which I think I said wrong earlier. I think I said National Monument Park, but National Historical Park, which is on Nebraska Ford, just west of Beatrice. And I wish I remember the exact route that we took from Columbus. We did a little bit, we took, mostly state roads. We did a little bit of crazy, routing because we were doing some county clinching as well.
Okay.
But yeah, so then went to Beatrice, then back up north on US 77 to Lincoln. And, then eventually made our way back east on I-80.
All right, very good.
Yeah, so that's my 2014 and 2017 trip summaries.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So as we watch I-10 and then the crossing of the Mississippi River in New Orleans,
Yay.
I understand that you have something that you would like to sing.
Are we going to do that now?
Do it
Is
now if you
now
like.
the world premiere time?
Well, I mean, we gotta have something going on in the background during this video.
Okay, cool. Okay, so y'all.
You guys have all seen this video a billion times by now, probably. So we can add something else to the background.
Okay. So I have to tell you all, as you all know, my background and line of work is in urban planning, city and regional planning, town planning, and it's Christmas time. One of my favorite comedy songs at Christmas time is the 12 Pains of Christmas. And I just think it's the funniest thing. Well, one day I was at work and I made a joke. We were revising the, long story short, we're revising the zoning code. And I, made a joke like 5 months of codes. And then from there, it just turned into me writing the 12 Pains of Urban Planning.
Here we go.
So, I want to throw the disclaimer out there that this is all in good fun. These lines are not about anyone in particular.
Yeah, you have to say that nowadays because, everybody will just get offended.
Right. They're not about anyone in particular. It's just, having some fun with some general things that happen when you're in the urban planning field.
Yeah, I know. She ran all of these by me, by the way, and I can concur with all of them. So.
Yes. I did change a couple of them just to, because there are a couple of them to make it a little more interesting. But yeah, you heard the first draft.
Yeah, I did.
All right.
Here we go.
Okay. The first thing of planning that's such a pain to me is approving a spot for trees. Don't make me laugh.
I'm trying not to.
Okay. The first thing of planning that's such a pain for me is approving a spot for... Okay, I'm just gonna have to keep going.
You're gonna have to power through it, man.
I'm just gonna have to power through it.
Yep.
There's no way I'm gonna have to keep starting over.
Yep.
We're gonna just be here stuck on the first day forever.
Yeah, well,
It won't be about Christmas Day, it'll be about Groundhog Day.
That's right.
Okay. The second thing of planning that's such a pain to me, reviewing site plans and approving a spot for trees. The third thing of planning that's such a pain to me, headaches, reviewing site plans and approving a spot for trees. The fourth thing of planning that's such a pain to me, sending zoning letters, headaches, reviewing site plans, and approving a spot for trees. The fifth thing of planning that's such a pain to me, 5 months of codes, sending zoning letters, headaches, reviewing site plans, and approving a spot for trees. The sixth thing of planning that's such a pain to me, facing the NIMBYs, 5 months of codes. Oh, I hate those zoning letters. Headaches. Reviewing site plans and approving a spot for trees. The seventh thing of planning that's such a pain to me, dealing with contractors facing the NIMBYs, 5 months of codes. Sending zoning letters. Oh, jeez. I'm trying to review these plans and approving a spot for trees. The 8th thing of planning that's such a pain to me. I want farmland for Christmas. Contractors. And what do you mean the NIMBYs? 5 months of codes. Oh, typing up these letters. Give me my meds. What? You have no landscape plan? And approving a spot for trees. The 9th thing of planning that's such a pain to me. Too many parking spaces. Mayor, I want more farms. Contractors facing the NIMBYs. 5 months of codes. Writing out those zoning letters. Headaches. Now where the hell's your master plan? And approving a spot for trees. The 10th thing of planning that's such a pain to me. Apartments not included. More parking spaces. Buy me a farm. Do your job, you bum. Oh, facing the NIMBYs. 5 months of codes. Yoo-hoo. Sending zoning letters. Ah, jeez, I can't look at this. One incomplete plan slides through. They all slide through. And approving a spot for trees. The 11th thing of planning that's such a pain to me. Monotone town meetings. Apartments not included. Too many parking spaces. Mayor, I want to go back to Mayberry. Contractors. She's a witch. I hate her.
That's a good one.
Yes, it is. That one's directly from the from the song. 5 months of codes. I don't even care about half these people. Turn off the light switch. This plan's so bad I blew a fuse. And approving a spot for trees. The 12th thing of planning that's such a pain to me. Budget cuts to transit. Monotone town meetings. Apartments not included. Ha! No parking. Contractors. Gotta make them happy. 5 months of codes. I'm not sending them this year. That's it. Shut up, you. Fine. You're so smart. You design the town. And approving a spot for trees.
We have our new global superstar on our hands here. And on that note, that is all I've got for you tonight. Any closing thoughts out of you before? I mean, you gave me a whole bunch just now.
I did. Which line was your favorite?
What the hell? No, there's too many.
There's too many. Too many good ones. Too many good ones. I like all the NIMBY lines.
Yeah, those always.
So yeah, the 6th day of Christmas, the 8th day of Christmas, those.
Yep.
Those NIMBYs.
Oh my god. Well, it's been great having you.
It's been so great. Oh, and 10. Because NIMBYs also don't like apartments.
Well. No, you're right about that.
Yeah.
That's all we got.
Yeah.
Thank you all for watching us in 2023. And we hope you'll join us next week for our last official show of the year. And we hope to see you again, I don't know, at whatever shows we do in the future. However long we decide to keep doing this.
Yeah.
We have a lot of fun doing these shows, and we hope you have fun watching them.
Yes.
So for that, we're gonna wrap up here. See, it's 8 o'clock.
Perfect.
We did all right.
Any comments from the crowd? Any feedback? Feel free to leave any feedback about my song as well.
Yes, leave your positive reviews in the comments section.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you all next weekend. Remember, it's a Sunday show, New Year's Eve. It'll be at 3 o'clock Eastern, and we hope to see you then. And until then, for my fantastic singer co-host, Laura.
Oh, you know what? Not to cut you off.
Yes.
I do. See, I have to admit, I wasn't reviewing the comments as I went, and so I'm gonna go back. Yes, thank you, Northwest Indiana Elevators, for the shout out. Woo! Yay, Cumberland. Also, Mr. Mate, thank you for the East. Your high compliment of the Eastwick stop. That is another one of those planning back in the 2022 Philly meet.
Right. Yeah.
One of those things where I brought urban planning to the road meet setting.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad you learned a lot and have been reading a lot about it, even still, a year and a half later. And yes, there was also the Tim Hortons visit earlier in the day, too, at the Buffalo meet. Woo! So, now that I've cut you off.
Yeah, you done yet?
I am done yet. I made you go a minute over.
I know. How terrible of you.
How terrible.
All right. We're done. I gotta go eat dinner. It's 8:00.
Yes.
So I'm done.
But thank you all for being here. And yes, you're welcome. I always enjoy being your co-host.
My pleasure to have you, and can't wait till next time.
Me too.
Which will be next week.
Next week. See y'all next week.
All right. We'll talk to you next week.
All right.
Take care, everybody.
You too. Bye.